My name is Eleanor and I am 72 years old. For more than a decade, I believed that my best years were behind me. Widowed early and living quietly in a small town, my life had settled into a predictable rhythm. Morning walks, tending to my little garden, afternoons spent reading or knitting by the fireplace, and long evenings of solitude. In those early years after losing my husband, the silence in the house was deafening. The absence of laughter, conversations, and the simple comfort of companionship carved a hollow ache deep within me. I often found myself staring out of the window, watching the seasons change as the years slipped past. Time moved on, but I felt frozen, as if trapped in a moment I could not escape. I had grown used to being alone, and with time I convinced myself that was just how life was supposed to be. The world outside my little neighborhood seemed distant and busy, too busy for someone like me. Friends who once surrounded me had gradually moved away or passed on. My children had families of their own, and though we kept in touch through phone calls, the connection felt sparse and fleeting. One chilly autumn afternoon, as the leaves painted the streets in warm reds and golds, I found myself on the porch with a book I wasn't really reading. My thoughts were elsewhere, swirling with memories of what once was. That's when I saw a figure struggling across the street, a man carrying a heavy box toward a modest house with a for sale sign still standing on the lawn. Without really thinking, I stood and walked toward him. "Would you like some help with that?" called out softly. He looked up, startled but smiling warmly. "Thank you, I could use an extra pair of hands." His name was Daniel, a man in his early 40s who had just moved here to care for his elderly father. We made our way across the street, balancing the box between us. His calm demeanor and easy smile instantly put me at ease. We exchanged a few words, simple and polite at first, but I felt something familiar, a spark of connection I hadn't realized I was missing. Over the next few weeks, our paths crossed more often. I would catch glimpses of him unloading boxes, fixing things around the house, or gardening under the fading sunlight. Sometimes he would stop by my porch and wave. One day, he brought me a freshly baked loaf of bread from the local bakery. We began sharing small moments, brief chats about the weather, the best spots in town, or the secret to growing the juiciest tomatoes. His presence became a gentle rhythm in my life, a welcome interruption to the quiet routine. One Saturday morning, he invited me over to help him plant a small vegetable garden in his backyard. I was hesitant at first. I hadn't done much gardening since my husband passed, but something in his invitation made me say yes. We spent hours in the sun, digging, planting, and laughing over memories of failed attempts at growing zucchinis or carrots. As the days turned to weeks, our garden grew lush and vibrant, mirroring the change blossoming quietly inside me. I found myself looking forward to our conversations and shared projects. His stories of the city, of the life he left behind, were fascinating. He listened to mine too. Stories of love, loss, and resilience. Through these exchanges, I realized I had stories worth telling. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the garden, Daniel said something I will never forget. "You've taught me that life doesn't end when it changes. It's about how we grow in those changes." His words resonated deeply within me. For so long I had seen my life as a closed chapter, but now I understood it was a new beginning, an opportunity to grow, connect, and find joy again. In the months that followed, our friendship deepened. I began attending local community events, joining a book club, and even took up painting again, something I hadn't done since my youth. The laughter returned to my home, subtle at first, then fuller with each passing day. My children noticed the change too. During their visits, they remarked on the brightness in my eyes, the spring in my step. I was no longer a woman resigned to solitude, but someone embracing life with open arms. Daniel's presence was never about romance, but about rediscovering the human connection I had missed so dearly. He reminded me that kindness, companionship, and shared moments could heal even the deepest wounds. One crisp winter evening, as snowflakes gently fell outside, I sat by the window reflecting on my journey. The woman who had once felt invisible and forgotten was now alive with hope and purpose. Life had surprised me when I least expected it, not with grand gestures or dramatic twists, but with a simple act of kindness and a new friendship that reminded me of the beauty of human connection. I share this story not just to recount a personal journey but to offer hope to anyone feeling lost in the silence. It is never too late to find joy, to grow, and to embrace the new chapters life offers. Because sometimes the greatest surprises come not from changing the past, but from opening our hearts to the possibilities ahead.